It's a short video to help with something that's a very common thing in patterns, but I don't suppose we explain well enough, often enough, which is starting a triangular shawl, i.e. a shawl that increases along the sides and along the centre and starts from what we call a tab cast on. It's this little set of stitches here that you work outwards from. So what I'm going to show you today is the stages of doing it with a crochet provisional cast on. Step 1 is to make a short crochet chain. I'm going to do a 4-stitch wide tab band today. So 4 stitches that will form a 4-stitch band either side of my shawl. So to do that, I'm going to need to start with 5 crochet chain, and to give myself a little bit of work, I'm actually going to do 6 or 7 just to give myself a little bit of extra room to work with. And it's just a simple crochet chain using some smooth, if possible, cotton yarn. Now, I've got chunky yarns for this demo so that you can see well. Usually you'd be doing this more with a bit of DK cotton or something like that. And I'm just going to go along and make myself a little chain. And then when it's long enough, I'll just snip it and fasten off. So now I have my short crochet chain and I have my needle. Okay, so rather than going into the V's on this, I'm going to the bumps on the back. And I'm going to go into 5. I'm going to pick up 5 of these bumps on the back. That's 1. I mean, if it's a bit tight, you can always skip 1. 2. Make sure I've got all my chain neatly into the whole stitch there. 2. I just work along. 3. 4. Oh, just do that wrong way. It won't matter. 5. So by putting those bumps on my needle, I've got 5 stitches just sitting there in the middle. So now I'll get my main yarn. My first row, I'm just going to knit across my 5 little bumps here. And I won't on the needle a lot. So I just start off, I just knit the second one with both ends just to keep it tight there. Okay, I'm just knitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across my little chain. Then I'm going to do the next row, I'm going to do knit 1. I want to have 4 stitches in this rather than 5, but I need 5 to make my loops, which you'll see at the end. So now I'm going to knit 2 together. 3, 4. Just type my end in there. So 4 stitches. And then I'm going to do, let's see, we'll do another 2 rows rather, because I'm 4 rows. Do another 2 rows of garter stitch. So now, if you look, I've got, which is a little tab of garter stitch with a funny little crochet end on here. So when you get to the pattern at this point, it will say something like knit across your 3 or 4 stitches, pick up 3 stitches along the side, and then release your stitches from the crochet provisional cast on, which is always the mystery bit. So we'll do it in stages. We're going to, first of all, we're going to knit our 4 stitches, which are the ends here. 3, 4. Now I'm going to pick up and knit 3 stitches along this edge. I'm just going to work in on the edge, 1, 2, the third one there. And now I need to release the stitches on this edge. Sounds kind of crazy, but actually it's not that difficult. So what we're going to do is right on the end of my crochet chain here. Now, fingers crossed this is going to work. It's always the difficult bit, just to see if this is going to work. And you just need to undo the first where you fastened it off. Just keep working until you free out the first loop. Hopefully I started at the right end here. There we go. And now I can very gently start to release these loops. No, it's not going to play for me today. Come on. There we go. There we go now. There we go. And if it doesn't, we can just pull it through and release it this way. And we've got the second one to release now. So as I release these loops, I'm going to pop them onto the other end of my other needle here, the end of my circular needle. And do another one. There, that one released much more easily now. That's 3. We're looking for another one yet. There we go. And we get 4 there. And then you can just remove all the rest of your crochet out of the way. Now what I want to do is I want to knit across my 4. So at this point it feels very tight and quite weird, but that's perfectly fine. Okay, so I have all my stitches on my needle. I've got, this would be the wrong side facing me. And this is your second setup row. So once you've picked up on your stitches, your pattern will tell you to knit a number of the stitches for the edge. Now in this case, I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to put a stitch marker in to tell me that's the edge into the edging. And I'm going to purl 1, which will start 1/2 of my shawl. I'm putting the marker in to mark the other side of that half. I'm putting my center stitch. I'm putting another stitch marker in there because I'll need to know my center stitch is the whole time. I'm purling 1, which will form the second side of my shawl. Honestly, it will. And then I'm putting the final one in for my edging. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, without doing any lace, what you're basically going to do from now on is on your right side rows, you're going to knit to your first marker, slip your marker, yarn over, knit to your second marker, yarn over, slip that, knit your center stitch, which will be the spine of your shawl, slip your marker, yarn over, knit to marker, slip marker, knit to the end. And the right side rows will work like that. I'll show you again in a couple of rows and it will make more sense. Right, coming back, we want to knit to the marker. Four. I'm going to purl across to the next marker. Just push your markers out of the way there. Slip one. You purl your centre stitch. Flip your marker again. Purl across to your second edge marker and knit to the end. Right, so now I'm going to do a couple of rows and then show you that again and it will all become much clearer. Okay, so I'm ready to do another row now from the right side. I've done one extra set just to make it easier to see. So I'm knitting my border to my marker. I'm slipping my marker. Yarn over. Knit to the next marker. Yarn over. Slip the marker. Knit one. Slip the marker. Yarn over. Knit to the marker. Yarn over. Slip marker. There's a lot of yarn over slip marker. And then you knit to the end across your little garter stitch border. And then on the way back, we're going to knit the border stitches and purl across all the in-between stitches till we get to the last marker, which gives us the second border. 3, 4 to the marker. I'm going to purl all the little stitches. Just to the middle, you just slip these markers as you're pulling across. And coming up towards my last marker here. There we go. And you just knit to the end. Right, I'm going to slide this down onto my cable now. See why it's easier to do this on a circular needle. And now it looks all crumpled up until you open up your piece on your table. And you can see that you've started making a border, a centre spine, and the start of 2 triangles, which is the top of your triangular shawl.